everyone, and good morning. I will present myself again since the last session wasn't moving well. My name is Dr. Wadha Alrasheedi. I am the head of studies unit at Saudi Irrigation Organization. And as I mentioned, the scope of our work is to enhance the utilization of water in irrigation sector, particularly from the point of renewable water sources and also from the irrigation practices and techniques. And this is lead us to our point here. We are here to present a new approach for cultivation of Hasawi rice, which is a traditional heritage of rice in Saudi Arabia. As a starter, the rice plays a critical role in food security. We are here to present the importance of rice as a source of nutrition and also as availability. 30 billion people over the world consume rice daily. So more than half of the population globally consume rice. And I don't know if you know about the golden rice, particularly story. Does anyone knows the story behind golden rice? Okay. Golden rice is a rice that genetically was developed about 20 years ago for the need, because people in Bangladesh and Philippines doesn't have this source of vitamin A in their environment. And therefore, the kids was born blindless. And to address this issue, two scientists from Germany decided to modify the rice, because in these countries, poverty is high, and they depend on rice. So they decided to genetically modify the rice by implementing vitamin A inside it. And when we consume rice, it transforms to vitamin A. That's why rice is very important in the concept of nutrition, and also in the concept in providing income to the farmers, providing jobs also. Asia is the primary producer of the rice. 90% of the production is from Asian countries, particularly China and India, because they have the right environment, from the climate conditions, from the land itself, from the practices of rice formulations, and also they have diverse rice species. And the most important is they focus on research and development for the rice productivity. They see rice as an income, so they have a robust research activities regarding the improvement of rice species. We can see here a statistic. The global production of China is 28%. The global production of India is 26%. So India and China produce more than 50% of the global production of rice. And when we see the list, we can immediately know that Asian countries are the specific countries that produce rice mainly. We have a productivity of the rice in the, based on the tons of hectare. We have Australia best, and the least are United States. Now, Hasawi rice is the only rice in Saudi Arabia is produced, and it's produced in Al-Hasa oasis. Al-Hasa oasis was recognized by the UNICEF as the largest oasis in the world. And it has diverse crops, and also it is in the driest countries or region in the world. The red rice is preferred for its super nutrition quality and compared to the white rice. We know that today, health people looking for the brown and red rice because they have a low carbon content, high fiber and protein content, so it's suitable for diabetes, and also it's suitable for people who try to build up their protein intake. Hasawi rice have, like I said, lower total carbohydrate, but if we can see here, the cultivation area in Saudi Arabia is in the round of 337 hectares, which is relatively small compared to any other countries or any other areas. The total productivity is 787 tons per year. Do you know how much we consume yearly? 1.3 million tons per year. So it is not even, it's less than 1% for our consumptions. What are the challenges? Hasawi rice are here in Saudi Arabia for years now. I mean, the story said that from 19th century till now, it's been here. The history said that it was brought from India, and it's adopted the new environment in Hassa, so it's continued growing in the driest area in the world. There are a couple of challenges, as you can see. The first one is high water demand. We have 18,000 square meter per hectare as a consumption of water. We have a long duration variety, which means the cultivation time is almost 6 months. Globally, the cultivation times is from 120 days to 130. So it means it is more than the global by 30%. More than time for the global rice production for 30% means it consumes more water than any other type of rice. And also because Saudi Arabia have a water scarcity, it is important to emphasize that today we are growing Hasawi rice by groundwater, and we are having a problem of water scarcity. The abiotic stress, we are having climate change, drought, high temperature, and salinity. Also, the typical way of growing Hasawi rice is the flood system. Flood irrigation, they flood the area with water, and the length is from 10 to 15 centimeters, which means we are using too much excess of water. And the most important is we didn't focus enough on the research and the development related to this type of heritage. We need to focus more about it. So we have a lake now for research and external program in the matter of research itself and in the matter of improving the farmer's practice and management in the farm. We have a low productivity, the productivity overall from about 2,000 kilograms per hectare. The global productivity is from 5,000 to 7,000. So we have very low productivity. Maybe it's due for the practices of the farmers. Maybe it's due to the weather change, salinity of the soil. So all of these parameters makes it very challenging to produce Hasawi rice in more sustainable manner. What are we trying to do here is to focus on this heritage and trying to optimize a sustainable manner to produce it. So we started an initiative for a sustainable for sustainable Hasawi rice production. The sustainable productions emphasize on two matters. The source of water, we are trying to use renewable source of water, and we also trying to optimize the water productivity. The concept of water productivity means the parameters, the practices, the techniques that we are using during this productivity. For water resources or for expanding the use of renewable water, we're trying to use treated sewage effluent, which is what we are trying now to irrigate all the countries with. And we are trying to collaborate with ICBA. It is International Center of Biosaline Agriculture Research. The cooperation with ICBA is to evaluate if the treated wastewater is suitable for productivity of Hasawi rice, to assess its impact, and to see which modern technology is the best for this kind of research and this kind of crop specifically. The enhancement of water productivity focus on the practices. We have on-farm practices, we have model farm practices. The on-farm practices, the integrated irrigation system overall. We have the weed management, the fertilizing, the water depth, which means the techniques that we are going to use for the productivity, and also the practices we're going to use in the farm related to soil, related to fertilizer. And we have the best practices in the transportation age and the planting age or date. Because when you choose the wrong time to plant the Hasawi rice, 6 months is going to be wasted because low productivity will achieve. Breeding program is something, as SIO, we don't deal with. It's not our strength. Our strength is in water and in irrigation techniques. And that's why I'm reaching out to anyone who's interested to have a scope of work in the breeding program where we can hybrid the system or produce a new species of Hasawi rice that have short age and can be resilient in the climate change and the weather in Saudi Arabia. Now, the national water strategy is emphasizing the use of renewable water or the treated wastewater should be reached to 70% by 2030. I think now we are in the range of 23%, and we are trying to emphasize, or we are trying to work toward this achievement by implementing the Hasawi rice productivity with total treated wastewater. We are collaborating with ICBA, which is an international institution in Abu Dhabi that focus on the agriculture of rice and crops based on modern techniques for particularly salinity environment. We will explore the best practices, the assessment of water in the long term, and also investigate the greenhouse and hydroponic system if it's suitable to have a long year production of Hasawi rice. At the end, we can have the right technique, we can have the right practices, and we will produce, but only if we can build the capacity of our workers and also the farmers in the industry. This is the project agenda. We will have two types of irrigation system. We will have the open field. We will have the greenhouse as a hydroponic system. In the open field, we are managing what? The water type, the soil modification, and the irrigation method. We will choose 3 types of irrigation method: the surface drip irrigation, sprinkler irrigation, and alternative wet and dry method. And instead of the traditional flood method, we will try to improve the retention of water in the soil by adding some kind of modification material like polymer hydrogel and biochar. And also, this is the traditional method in the field. We will try to assess the ability of producing Hasawi rice in the hydroponic system. At the end, Hasawi rice is a cultural heritage. We should focus on improving its productivity, reducing the water consumption, and collaborating with institutes, private or public, that focus on achieving sustainability in water management, particularly for this type of crops. Implementing an extension program focusing on the best farm practices. And I'm glad to tell you that we have reached to a mature level in the practices. We have built a Saudi irrigation code, which is directed to the practices in the farms, and which we are optimistic of what we can achieve if we collaborate with or if we enlarge the collaboration to achieve this kind of sustainability for keeping the Hassawi rice culture as a productive material in the world. Thank you so much.